Okay. We're here.
Oh my god. Okay, first of all, for the people that are still waiting, wow, you guys are awesome. Oh, that was so stressful and annoying. Oh.
Yeah, it was weird. There was something going on with the network. I did a speed test. My upload was fine. I had zero. Sorry, my download was fine. I had zero upload, and then everything went down, and I called the network, and they were having unplanned maintenance, which is business speak for how can I not admit wrong and say it was a feature and something that you need, but
yeah, I didn't think we were gonna be able to be live today. I was already in the kitchen having my next donut, and then you called me. Hey, it's working. Oh shit! Look.
It's still going. Open widget. Oh, what's going on there? I don't know what's happening. Okay. It's still working. We're still. It's staggering for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah. Who knows? I don't know. This network, if it keeps giving me these problems, I'm just going to go back to the old network. I've got a very fast internet connection, but it's dropped in and out. When it works well. When it doesn't. All right, let's try and discuss this subject while we still can, maybe.
Maybe let us know in the chat if something goes wrong with our internet or whatever, or the view, because we've got like an error here, but I hope everything's okay.
Yeah, it's still working. I think it's just staggering. But anyway,
loud and clear, okay.
Loud and clear. We are okay out here so far. Okay. All right, let's just go ahead.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you haven't got full control over everything. All right. Is marriage a good idea?
Divorce attorneys agree marriage is good. Well, because they have a job.
Well, they say they make the most money out of the divorce, not the marriages.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of videos by that one divorce attorney, the popular one on YouTube.
Well, they love recommending to us a lot of drama and OMG kind of extreme stuff. But yeah, I think calm tranquility doesn't sell. It's kind of boring. It's like watching the sky. The sky's blue. It's just a nice sunny day. And
yeah.
Anyway, if you have any questions, make sure you put a smiley face, an avatar before your question or comment if you'd like us to read it on the stream. Otherwise, it just looks like a whole bunch of... because we can't go through everything. Thanks for the patience for sticking around, by the way.
Yeah.
Especially for you. You got this Dutch thing about being punctual.
Yeah. Yeah, that was annoying.
Well, before we met, what was your opinion of marriage before we met?
Very different than it is now. Because before we met, I didn't know anything about the red pill or feminism or the problems in the West, basically.
Sure, but what was your view of marriage?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So because of that, my view of marriage was just normal. So then if someone were to ask me, is marriage a good idea? I would probably say yes. Like if people are in love and want to get married, then it's a good idea. Now it's a little bit different, in my opinion. Now I would say it depends on the situation and the couple.
It's very, very contextual because it is dangerous legally in the West, and especially the way people get away with lying, and people who lie. And it's still the only contract in English law that you are allowed to change. Like it's a binding contract, but it's the only contract in any law that you can just change and nullify just because you feel differently. You can't do that anywhere else. If you sign to do something, you are bound by that signature, and there are penalties. Like either you pay a fine, there's some sort of compensation if you break your promise. But with marriage, it's not. It's like, yeah, we promise, you know what, tomorrow, I don't care.
Yeah. I don't know, in Holland, because I grew up in Holland and my parents have just a normal good marriage. So that's what I always thought about when I hear the word marriage. But now it's kind of different because of like America and stuff.
Well, it has a lot to do with what you've become used to when you were growing up, what your household was like. So whatever problems you're having socially in life, whether it's with friends or relationships with, romantic relationships, I think what you really saw as normal growing up, you had a definite version of it. When you go out into the world, if it's very different, that kind of really changes your perspective. Because for me, finding someone was very different out in the world compared to my family. You as well, like you had a normal upbringing, a good impression of marriage. Socially, it was fairly normal. And it's only when you started to watch, say, more Western content and you came to live here, you saw a very different view. And people looked at it and approached dating and relationships very, very differently.
Yeah.
Because at my heart, like you grow up in a good family where people keep promises, people are honorable, they do view relationships and marriage in a particular way, and all this other stuff online is just a joke, right? And that's how you and I have grown up, roughly. And so it's when you deal with the general world that it's hard to find someone that's like you. It's hard to find someone that sees marriage like you do, that sees friendship like you do, that likes similar values to you.
Yeah, look, I think marriage itself is nice, but times have changed. And like, I guess, like YouTube and the West and everything has opened my eyes to the other side of marriage, I guess. And like how dangerous it can be for people also.
Armand Ghost says marriage is good for security. A lot of Red Pill guys will say, well, it's not for a man.
Yeah. For a woman, it's good for security, I guess. Unless the woman is rich and the man has a normal job.
Well, I would say the meaning of our relationship has increased and has become more real and serious and important and worth protecting and taking care of because of the symbolic meaning of you being my wife and me being your husband and things like that. And I never actually thought of that, never knew I'd feel that until afterwards. So for me, the meaning of our relationship is it's good for the meaning of our relationship. It's even better. Not so much for security for me, but the meaning of us is better, if that makes sense. But I would see that for a woman, a sense of security, it's a little bit more secure being married.
Yeah, but I guess the question, is marriage a good idea? I would say it really depends on the situation and the couple. Because obviously, it's not always a good idea. It has a really big failure rate.
Yeah.
And it is, like, especially from men, from everything that I've seen on YouTube, it's almost crazy to do it nowadays. Because times have changed. So I would never just blindly say, oh yeah, get married. Like, it really depends on the couple and the situation, I would say.
Well, someone put a comment before about, I think it was Peg. She said something about a connection between two people, and I was laughing because our internet connection dropped out. There was no internet connection.
Oh, yeah, I think they were talking about Legos.
Ah.
For some reason, they were making jokes about Legos. I don't know why, but...
I think someone just started a comment. Marriage is good for two-player games. Well, it is a two-player game. Yeah, it's something very hard to, and I wouldn't want to sell it to anyone, but it's similar to when I hear a guy talk about how much he loves his kids, and I believe him, even though it's not important to me and I don't care necessarily, but I do trust that he does really care about his kids. It's one of those things that's very hard to put into words to other people, because I don't want to sound like I'm trying to convince you that I'm right. Like, oh, marriage is really good. It's important. I don't regret it. It's fantastic. I would have done it again 100 times with Stephanie. But it's almost like you're trying to explain it objectively to people, and it's very hard to do that. I think unless you're religious and you do want kids, you're a very cookie cutter kind of person that wants marriage, kids, church, like you've got this very structured life that you follow like everybody else, then you can explain it to other people and they can relate to it. But the reason you and I got married, especially why I asked you to marry me, was such a subjective, symbolic reason. And that's it.
I don't know why those people find it so weird when we say that. I feel like that's very common. People just getting married for love.
Well, they go back to, love was designed for, by the church to keep a couple together, not just by their feelings, to reproduce. It's for children.
Marriage was designed.
Marriage.
Not love.
Not love. But now they kind of say, because of the way the world is, it doesn't look like love even exists. And that's kind of true because of the way people act. But just because you act like an idiot about it and you're being childish doesn't mean love doesn't exist. So if everyone loves going on Tinder and hooking up and everyone's saying, love doesn't exist. Yeah, because you don't want to do it. You don't find it important. You find it more fun and important to hook up and have fun. Everyone is, if love was a town, everyone would be going to the hookup town. No one's going to this very small town of committed monogamous relationships where they don't want to screw around.
But I can't imagine anyone saying or believing that love doesn't exist, because love obviously exists. Maybe they mean that relationships don't work or whatever. Yeah,
it's kind of a smug comment where it's all too difficult. You're all stupid for even trying. And then they'll point to the laws and the statistics, and that proves to them that love doesn't exist. See? People get divorced. Like, she was never yours. You never really loved her. It was just your turn.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like this verbal smart aleck way to seem like you're clever.
Yeah, what they're saying is not correct. They mean something, but they're not saying it correctly.
How would you say they...
Because love obviously exists, because everyone sees love in the world everywhere. Like your mom loves you, bam, that's love. But
they will say, she says she loves you, but does she?
Yeah, but that's something else. That's not love doesn't exist. What they mean is probably the person you're in a relationship with doesn't love you. Or people don't actually love each other when they're in relationships. That's probably what he means. But love obviously exists. Just maybe not in your relationship.
I think it's easy for people to give clever rebuttals and say it doesn't exist because you can't. It's not a thing like this can. You can't say here it is. You can't see it and touch it.
You can see it in actions.
Well, you hear the way they describe it. It's like if your partner that you cared about dies and you break down and cry, it's like, well, that's just attachment response. That's not love. You were just attached, and they try and explain it psychologically or through like these Buddhist kind of like attachment theories, not by love. Yeah,
but I can't help that there are retards in the world that don't understand simple logic.
Well, to me, it's kind of different words explaining the same thing that make you sound scientific because you think science makes things more stable to you in the explanation. I don't know.
Look, rocket scientist says something funny. That is really such a big thing. I've heard so much, that like whenever men get married, they don't get sex anymore.
Well, yeah, that's typically true. Like if you look at the broad cross section, you go out with a person, you have most of your sex at the start, and then either it stops or it slows down, or sexless marriages are very common. It's a cliche because it's not rare.
When's the last time you had sex, babe? I'm kidding.
Lego. I don't know what this Lego thing is.
Yeah, in the beginning they were making Lego jokes. I don't know why.
Institution for Raising Children.
Prince Revolver started it.
Yeah, look, I've said it before. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it unless I talk to the person and I could relate to how they talked about wanting to be married or how they saw it. And if it was in line with me, if they were like another version of me, they talked about marriage and how they wanted to be with someone, and I could 100% relate to it, and that's the way I am, I would say, well, in that case, I would recommend it. But then a recommendation doesn't mean you're forcing someone to do it. You know, I'm not saying do it. Like, convert to this religion. You must. I'm not shaming you. I'll just say, if I see the person's level-headed and they're doing it, for instance, if someone wants children and they've always wanted to be married and stuff like that, I'm not going to say, well, you know, divorce statistics. If a guy's sensible, I'm talking to him, he's got a good head on his shoulders, he's aware of everything, he really wants kids, like everything's pointing to, and he wants to do it, it's like, yeah, I recommend it then. You sound like it would really be great for you. It's something you've set your life up and that's the next thing you really want. Why wouldn't you do it and you're going about it the right way? Because there's so many people today, they recommend things like, oh, just sleep around. And to me, it's like, that's really risky. People say, oh, it's freedom. It's not tomorrow if some crazy bitch reports you.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like with marriage, now that I know everything I know about it, I would never actually recommend it to anyone. Just because it's kind of silly if you look at the risks.
Yeah, but I would recommend it if I saw that they were a mature, sensible person with really good values. I would recommend it on the basis of it deepened our relationship. Would you agree? We had a good relationship and it just added a depth to it.
I think I might be hung up on the word recommend. I think if a couple like that existed, I would support them. And I would say, oh, that's nice and congratulations. But I would never actually recommend it. Because I feel like if there's like I don't know what the rate is, like over 50% failure rate, I feel kind of silly recommending that to someone. Yeah. Even if they have, I think the word recommend kind of bothers me.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's kind of like if I love my car, and even though it's got all its faults, I just love it and I've no problem maintaining it and whatever. Whereas someone else is just saying, I want a car. I couldn't recommend my car in my particular way. Generally, yeah, that's why I say I wouldn't recommend marriage necessarily to people. But I would never kind of deter someone who really wanted to get married, and I wouldn't tell them to avoid it and shame them for doing it.
No, of course not.
If they were very sensible about it, you know, and if they knew the red flags and the things to look out for, I wouldn't necessarily shame them like a lot of people online. They don't even ask you anything, and they hear you want to get married, you want to have kids, you've been divorced, and they already make a value judgment on you. It's like, hang on a minute, you haven't talked to the person. There's context involved.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, yeah, if it's like a risk, in terms of whether it's a risk or not, I think you also have to, it also really depends on the people and where they live, I think. Because I've noticed a lot of people, at least from what I see on YouTube, like in America, they live in a very different way. Like their thinking culture or mindset is very different from what I'm used to. It's almost like they don't actually think and reflect and learn from them about themselves what they want, and they just kind of go through life and make decisions.
Everything's very
quickly.
material. I feel like everything's filtered through a material lens.
Yeah, it's like everything is kind of more shallow and about other stuff outside of what it's actually supposed to be about. So that's why I say, like, marriage in that context, like in the US, I would be like, whoa, watch some red pill, you know? But like, in Holland, not that people in Holland are perfect, but I think in other countries it's like a little bit different, maybe. So
That's kind of the problem I was always fighting against. I always liked being in a good relationship when it was good, and I always liked it when I had a companion. And the problem in the Western way of dating is everything they say and warn you about is true, you know? And it's almost like I have to not want something that I instinctually want, and it shouldn't be a problem. And I see a lot of people used to get together quite easily. You know, why can't two human beings just be honest and be together and communicate? It seems so simple and basic, yet the evidence and the data shows you I can't even trust my own human instincts to want to be with someone. It really screws with your head.
I think nowadays, especially for men, you just have to be very, very, like, keep your eyes open and pay attention to everything when you're looking for a girl or dating a girl, you know, because if you really want to get married and you find someone good, like, there's always going to be a risk. So if you really want it, then you'll take that little bit of a risk, I guess. But yeah.
I think like you mentioned before, the American style of dating and love, it's very, very material. They talk about, oh, love is this and love is all you need, but not really. Like, they talk it, but they're lying to themselves, because when push comes to shove, who they're going to choose to commit to, if they do, is the person who's going to give them very much financial security and structural security. They don't really care that much. You've mentioned this, especially women. They don't really care about love. They care about all this other stuff.
But that's also what I mean with men need to keep their eyes open and not get distracted by the beauty of a woman. Because if a woman is talking about, like, what you need to provide for her financially and blah, 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 that's already like, get out of my sight. Go walk in that direction and I'll go over here. That's already like a huge red flag.
But if you're living in the US, I would say almost all women, unless they're very religious, but then you've got to be very religious too. Most women are very material. The guy could have he could be the perfect guy, but he's not successful, or he doesn't own his own house. And the girl is like, if you had that, you'd be perfect. So to a girl, structurally and financially, if he's got everything and he's got the extra of being compatible with her, that's a bonus. But he can't just be all about his personality. So for an American woman or Western woman, I feel like generally, if you are you're a 10 out of 10 in terms of a compatible person, if you don't have the other stuff, she'll give you a pass, or she won't commit to you.
Yeah, bye.
But that's what I mean, the difference between an American value. Whereas with you, it'd be like, you care about me. If I was rich, it'd be a nice extra. But that's an extra.
More food.
But it's flipped around. For women, right? In America, it's like, no, it's a nice extra if you're compatible with me, but the other stuff's more important. Whereas with us, no, we've got to be compatible. And then it's nice if, you know, the typical things that guys find appealing about a woman is like, oh, it'd be nice if you were a chef. Yeah. And you could cook at a 10 out of 10, or you could do this, like, perfect for a woman, or feminine this and that, or whatever it is. But big deal, that's a nice extra. I don't care. It'd be a nice, and the same with, like, financial. But in America, it's flipped around. The superficial stuff is the most important, and it doesn't matter how great the person is for you.
I know, but that makes dating super simple for men. That's a huge red flag.
Simple and hard.
No, just find women that are not like that.
Yeah, but that's hard. So it is simple. It's kind of like you said, okay, if you like that, if you're just a surface level, materialistic, cold bitch who doesn't care about me, then bye. Sure, that's a simple way to be, and it is the correct way to be. But in the West, it's going to be very, very hard, especially the older you get, to find someone. So it's a simple mechanism by which to pick a partner, but it's kind of hard to find those people out there.
But why is that even a point? Like,
because people want to find somebody. They want to be alone. They want a companion. It's nice talking to someone, having someone in your life.
Okay, so you're gonna choose the alternative because you don't want to be alone.
Some
so you're
people-
gonna be with a horrible person who can mess
No,
up
you
your
shouldn't.
life.
But I'm saying that's why it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's simple. What you're saying, everyone will say, yeah, you're correct, Stephanie, and I would too. But there's not many people that are just all about the personality and compatibility, and they don't care much about money.
I've just never understood, maybe because I'm not a man, but I've never understood why guys are okay with these materialistic women that obviously just want money from them or gifts from them or like whatever from them. If I were a man, that would be such a turnoff to me. If I was dating someone and that person, I would like someone who's like more humble. Like, don't you like getting me stuff sometimes? Because I never want anything. I never buy stuff, like very, very rarely.
I actually, this is the thing with you, I want to do things for you because you never blackmail me, you never shame me, you don't want anything, you're not pushy, you don't cause stress, you don't complain. And so I'm always looking out for you, want to protect you. And if I go out, I'll see her like, oh, Stephanie likes this shampoo, or she let me buy a few of these and surprise her. I'm always thinking of you. Whereas I think back to my past when you're shamed by your ex and nothing's ever good enough. I never looked out for her in the shopping center. Didn't care if there's some chocolate she likes. Who cares? It's like I'm blind to everything. I don't care about her. I'm just trying to tolerate a relationship, and trying to make it work. But it's very easy to care about you because you don't stress me and.
I just feel like, again, maybe it's because I'm not in a position of men and I don't have that biological drive for women. But I just feel like it's so obvious, those red flags. It's like screaming at you. So go in the other direction.
Well, it's like, you watch the reality TV shows.
Yeah.
How many, and online, you see so many of these women arguing with their boyfriends and you think, why are you together?
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't be, this should just be bye.
Yeah, like the show The Ultimatum. I finished watching a season today. And in all the relationships, there are problems and issues that they need to work through still. They have no business proposing to each other. And they all got engaged at the end. And I'm just like, what is this?
Yeah, I don't know if they're giving us dumb examples of relationships and we all think that's normal and we think a good relationship is boring. So everyone actually is running after the dysfunctional relationships we see in those stupid shows. We think the fresh and fit arguments are normal, and anything like us where we just sit at home all day and do nothing is boring.
That's what I mean. That's what I said earlier to you as well. I think there's like a cultural mindset difference because we reflect and think about stuff and we know ourselves and we know what we want. But I feel like in America, the dating mindset is more like they are used to conflict in their relationships and that's like normal to them. So it's normal when they fight and then they just get engaged and get married and there's like, it's chaotic, but it's like normal. And I'm just like, what are you doing? And it's different. It's a different mindset or something.
Yeah, I think the whole Western, and it's spreading around the world. It's just going to get worse, I think. Like immigration is spread all over the world. And so this materialistic, you just see everyone, doesn't matter now if you've got money or you don't, everyone is got the latest iPhone, everyone's driving a Tesla. It doesn't matter how poor or rich you are. So everyone's idea of lifestyle, they're not going to go backwards. So if a guy and a girl want to get together, they've got to at least keep the Tesla and the best iPhone, plus now a better house and everything.
Yeah, but I just feel like I keep hammering on this point, but I don't understand why men are with these women that want so much from them, like financially. Like those women that want like a $20,000 engagement ring or like a super expensive wedding, or they want all this stuff from a man. Like, why? Why can't we just have enough money and we both work?
Most people are uncivilized, babe. They don't think for themselves. They don't think about consequences.
Yeah, the women maybe. But I don't get why those men are with those
guys
women.
like that too. How many guys have I pointed out when we drive, and it's the typical guy who will do burnouts in his car. He's got tattoos up his neck. He watches football. He drinks too much. He drives too fast. The guys on scooters here when we go for walks, they're flying down the footpath, and you could just see an accident waiting to happen. And I'm saying, yeah, this is the guy that's going to be 22 and have 3 kids by 2 different women.
Yeah, okay, so those are 2 different things. So the guys on the scooters, yeah, those are dumbasses. But the first thing you said about men just having a car and whatever, that's fine. What they do on their own, I think, is fine. But once you're in a relationship, I'm talking about, why can't you just be with each other in a nice relationship and just talk about what you want and then have a nice life together? Why do there have to... I don't get why women need to, like, ask for so much from men. And I don't get why men accept that. It's ridiculous.
Because we're hardwired.
I feel like I have so much to say on this topic. I'm like...
Go for
getting
it, babe.
heated. No, because I don't... Maybe I need to be a man for one day and have that biological urge for women, and then I'll understand it more. But I just don't get it. I'm just like, if I were a man, I wouldn't even give those women any attention at all. I would look for a woman that was just nice, who kind of wanted the same things as me, who didn't really care much about money, who just wanted to have enough money for us to have a nice life together. And that's it. If a woman was like, oh, I need like a $20,000 engagement ring, I would laugh in her face. You know what we could do with that money? That's ridiculous.
Well, I've mentioned this before to guys, and guys probably don't want to like hearing it. Is like, we could learn a lot from women's attitude to us. Not to be cruel, but they really have a line. We keep women's boundaries generally. They've got a bit more self-protection than us. You're designed to protect yourself more. You will try, but then you sense danger quickly and you'll go, no, fuck that, get lost. I'm not going to be with you. Whereas guys just keep going because we're hardwired. Like, unless a real catastrophe hits, we need to get hit in the face by the relationship before we go, oh, okay, I'm leaving.
Sometimes it may be danger, but I think most of the time it's that you guys tolerate more from women. You tolerate more shit from women.
And you're told, like, they teach you to. You know, the cliches. Whenever you fight with your partner, you need to apologize. The man needs to apologize, even if he hasn't done anything wrong, because that's the way it's done. Because women don't like to say they're sorry and blah-de-blah. And that's normal, and it's just the way it is. How many cliches you watch in romantic movies? Just do this. It doesn't make sense, but you're supposed to do it this way.
Yeah, it's such a turnoff.
I know.
That is so dumb to do that as a man. Yeah.
Yeah, just simple things today. It's women. I think today, both men and women, but especially women, but okay, both, are encouraged to be children. And you've got children who are older now, who are adults, and they're driving and they're sleeping together. Even 50-year-olds who act like children. The last few generations have encouraged, and the world just keeps promoting acting like a child and never thinking sensibly, never saying, okay, I fooled around enough. I've dated a few women. It's time to get serious, rather than stay at the party too long and act like a child. So women acting more childish, men acting more childish, and online just keeps promoting the childish behavior. The dating shows that you watch that for you are entertaining, that's showing what's normal. An exciting relationship where your girlfriend's hard work, but then the sex is great. That's what you want, an exciting relationship. I don't want an exciting relationship where I have to have drama all the time. But you have to choose to know what you value. No, people find that boring. People don't want to say, okay, I know what fun and games are, but over here is serious. So when I date and how I communicate, if I care about my relationship, if I don't want my world to explode and my wife to leave me and take my kids and my house, and like, I have to deal with this like an adult, but they don't. It's like, we'll just have fun everywhere in life and whatever, and I don't even know how to communicate. I tried to watch that show you're watching with the the young people dating. What was it called?
Ultimatum.
Ultimatum. For 5 minutes, I couldn't stand it. They couldn't even talk. The compares of the show, they go to the guy. It's like, so what do you think? It's like, whatever. It's like, vibing and like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I can't watch this, babe. Like, they can't even string a sentence together.
I know which guy you mean.
And everyone's cheating. And they said one thing, but they did something else. But they can excuse it because of feelings and whatever, and tears and walking out and avoidance. And it's like, you guys need therapy, not a relationship.
All right. You want to take a look at some of those?
Are there any questions?
Just marriage is good for continuing human traditions.
I used to buy candles before you. I like putting candles around the house. It makes me feel very cozy.
Why would you ever need an excuse to buy candles, though? You can always buy candles.
Yeah, candles is generally feminine. It's not generally a guy thing.
Why would you give a fuck as a guy?
Yeah, but it's like, what if I start wearing dresses?
You can't compare. Buying candles is normal.
Yeah, but also as a guy, if I want to wear dresses, who gives a fuck?
That's not the same as buying candles, babe.
Well,
No.
depends on your standards, babe.
If you are a man and you want to buy candles, buy fucking candles and enjoy them.
I got a really nice candle. It's tobacco. It's like, smells like tobacco and whiskey, but it's sweet.
Yeah, see? Candles are
But
nice.
I would agree. If someone sort of said, if you have to pick one, are candles a more feminine thing or masculine thing?
Yeah, I get what you mean, but I wouldn't necessarily, only because you asked me that question, I would say probably a little bit more feminine, but I wouldn't think that if I saw like a house, if I went into a house where a man lived and he had candles, I wouldn't necessarily think, oh, that's gay or whatever. It's nice.
Rocket says, women tend to hold onto their boundaries. Most men do not. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, that's what I mean. For us women, if there's something that's a no-no, like we move on. But guys, they stay in their relationships.
Yeah, I feel like whenever you watch self-help online for men, when they talk about boundaries, it's like they need to get better at respecting themselves and not tolerating shit from women or other people abusing them. When women talk about boundaries, it's like, I need to think of myself as great. I'm a queen. I'm awesome. I'm better. Like, women's boundaries is making themselves be like Wonder Woman, like talk of themselves like they're fantastic. Whereas with men's, it's like, stop being abused. That's men's idea of boundaries. We need to stop ourselves from continuing to accept abuse, and especially with women, stop the abuse and cut it off. Whereas women's boundaries is like, you need to see your worth and realize you're a queen. Like, women's boundaries is just elevate yourself to a goddess.
Yeah, okay, but you're talking about a group of delusional women. You do have to specify.
Yeah.
Why did you skip that awesome comment from Rocket Scientist?
Which one?
That one about the punch in the face thing.
Which one? Where is it?
The one below. No, there. I had to go there, babe.
Oh, that one. Well, there's no... Put some emojis, Rocket, next to the thing.
I had a girlfriend that punched me in the face once. Was I supposed to marry her?
No.
Why would you ask that question?
You're supposed to do the same thing back. I talked to you about this. You laugh. I absolutely would do it
we
back.
We did talk about that. Yeah.
I'll never throw the first punch. But I will always, in self-defense, do the same thing back.
Yeah, we talked about this again because of the Ultimatum, that show. And oh my god, there was this black girl and this black couple. And the black girl, she was like jealous and angry at the guy. And then she did this to his face, like that, right? Like,
pushed it away, like
that. And they ended up like having a kid together. She got pregnant. And I'm just like, the fuck? Like, that's not okay. If a girl ever puts her hands on you, red flag, leave the relationship. No excuses. Seriously.
Most guys that talk about how terrible, like that most women are like that, when you talk to them and ask them about, okay, tell me about your girlfriend. What did she do? Were there any red flags? They'll mention things like that. She did that. She had a temper. She punched me. She pushed me. She flipped out. She threw, like, all this behavior. And I think, and you still went out with her and you still moved in and then you married her and then you, like, at what point, what does she need to hold a knife to your neck for you to go, whoa, okay, that's enough?
Yeah.
Like, at what point do you go, no, crazy?
I feel like there are so many red flags that, and especially with those American shows, like people stay in relationships and it's just like, you guys have no business being in a relationship together. You need to like work on your own shit. Like even if people, when they have like arguments or whatever, and they fight and they scream at each other, like that's not normal. You shouldn't be with someone who can't just talk about something and who's just screaming at you whenever she gets angry. Like, that's not okay.
But you know what they do? They convince everyone watching it, because everyone watches this. People watch reality TV-based relationships, and that to them is the only thing they see, babe.
Yeah.
All young people, that's all they see. They don't talk to old people. They don't get mentored. They don't hang around people who have good relationships. The only relationship that we all have with relationships is the stupid stuff we watch. That's all that's being imprinted on us. You know, they say in psychology that if when you were a kid, you were treated a certain way, like say you were really screamed at by your mother or your father, you learn to look for people that give you the same thing back when you're older. That's what love is to you. Other people are boring. If someone doesn't scream at you, even though you think that you know that's better, you just get excited and attracted to someone that mimics what you're used to. So in the same way online, all we see is fucked up people fighting, and online they scream at each other and they have the music in the background like da-da-dun, da-da-dun, da-da-dun. And then the next moment they hug each other, oh, I'm going to marry you. And then there's violins and guitars and it's like, look, the resolution, the beautiful movie where everything works out. It's like, no, the movie ends when you fight. I'm not waiting around for the end of the movie. They show relationships in this very romantic Hollywood way where there is this awful bit and then after it we have the happy ending. There's always a happy ending. No, there's not. The movie stops right there. I don't care.
Yeah, and that probably contributes to that mindset culture that I was talking about. Like what people see on TV, they're going to think that's normal. Yeah.
I think the mental struggle today is that you have to defiantly decide to be different because you know what's right and what you won't put up with. You don't need to go online to get it validated. You don't need to go say, who agrees with me? Is this the right girl? It's like, no, you know right from wrong. You know, for those of you who would want to have kids, right, if your son or daughter was copying the abuse from their partner that you tolerate, like if you watched your best friend or your son or your daughter in a relationship being abused, would you put up with it? You would defend them. You would say, get out, because you care about them. But we don't care about ourselves like that. We sit there going, okay, yeah, I'm an idiot. I don't know what to say. You know, on these dating shows, so many times if one person, which is usually the woman, like screaming at the guy's just like sitting there with his shoulders up, not saying a word because he doesn't know what to say. He's like a 5-year-old.
Or he just takes it, or he talks back, but he should just leave.
Yeah. Anyway.
Rocket scientist, candles are not gay. And Daniel, I like that you buy candles. I like candles. We have a few candles that smell really nice.
Look, I have always liked candles, but again, I'm a person that I can agree with generally the way it's seen. Generally, candles are a bit gay if a guy buys them, right? But I don't care because I like candles and I know I'm not gay. But this is the difference. Are you going to go by what everyone says? Or are you going to go by, yeah, I know who I am, I know my sex, but I also don't mind this?
I don't know why that needs to be gay. Like if I play basketball sometimes, am I manly or whatever?
Well, in Australia, if you played women's football...
Oh, women's sports is bullshit.
It's a bit aggressive. I think you've got internalized misogyny, babe.
Okay, it's not bullshit,
I've taught you too well.
But I don't like women's sports. It looks weird.
I don't think many... look, the viewership and them complaining about the pay and people not turning up and watching the game is just objective evidence that not many people care.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean.
I've always said, if there was a third gender that was better than men, we would all be watching that.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what you were saying before when you were going off? I kind of feel like... what I always come back to is like, it's your own responsibility. You need to like open your eyes and be a bit more selfish, maybe even. Like sometimes I feel like men should be a bit more selfish when it comes to dating and everything. Like know yourself and actually think about what you're doing and don't just follow your dick. And like do what you want to do for yourself and don't be afraid to say no, or don't just take crap, you know. I don't know.
Well, again, we're hardwired that way. If women would just not be, generally, if women would be nicer, they would have less problems. But they just buy into the boss babe being a strong, fierce, independent woman. And it's like, why would anyone want to ask you out or be with you?
Yeah, but we can change the way women are. But men themselves, they can control themselves, get to know themselves well, and what they want. Learn to control yourself. I sound like a man's activist now. But I mean, just like, you know, you make choices. You are you. So
yeah, it is. But it is hard because we're hardwired to just want women and believe everything they say. And we're raised by women. We're raised by our mothers, most of us. And then there's a lot of people, like most of the school system is all women. By the time you get a male figure, if you ever get one in your life, you're a teenager maybe. You're lucky to get a male teacher. It's very common for single mothers to raise boys. So it's hard and hard. And then you're hardwired to just lay down for women and do everything they say. And they won't let you go out with them. And their standards are through the roof now. It's just a man has to have a lot of mental strength, resilience, and just natural defiance and a will to stand, like protect themselves. But
men are learning about all this stuff now. Everywhere, I feel like, right? So now you do have a choice. Like you can learn about this stuff and like don't just follow the herd.
I think at the end of the day, a human relationship is ultimately your responsibility, as is most stuff. Society used to have your back more before, but now it doesn't. Society doesn't care. Governments don't really care. People aren't polite. People don't keep promises. Yeah. So all you can do, the only thing you trust is your own values and sticking to them and speaking all the time to people and letting them know what you feel and who you are and trying to be as decent as you can. And again, not putting up with a lot. But it's very hard for guys. I'm not excusing guys. Guys should definitely stand up for themselves.
I just feel like it would be so frustrating because if I imagine myself as like, if I was gay, so I also wanted to be with women, and let's say I had that biological urge as well, that would be like super frustrating. Because then your urge is to be with these women, but at the same time, then you have to deal with all that bullshit. And you have to try not to go for it. I don't know.
Yeah, today it's much more challenging to even want to marry anyone. Everything is geared towards you being alone. And it's very risky to want to get married. You have to have an individual defiance and know what you want despite whatever the world says. Like you have to not give a fuck and trust in yourself and the person you're with. You can't trust if you trust what everyone says, then you'll trust not to get married. You have to really trust yourself and the person and know what you want. If you don't know what you want, don't get married.
Yeah, I would just say be very, very careful.
I would go one more. As a guy, if you really are unsure, any shadow of a doubt, especially the person you're with, in today's environment, I would really say reconsider getting married unless you're 100% sure and you don't care what I say. And I would say, good, at least you know yourself and you know what you want. But if you're kind of like, I've had people on my channel, I'm with this girl, she wants to get engaged. Should I or shouldn't I? I would say no, because you're asking me. Like, you don't know me. And I'm glad that you respect the way I speak and think, but you're already telling me that you're not sure about this person. So I would lean towards don't. Because if you knew what you wanted, even if I said no, you'd say, no, fuck you, human. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what I want. It's like, good. That's the attitude to have with marriage or not marriage or whatever you want to do. Don't look to be validated by everyone's consensus. Like, should I marry? Is Stephanie a good person to go out with? Let me do a poll on my channel. Then I'll let you know, Stephanie, if I can go out with you. That's just stupid.
Yeah. Also, if you're having any doubts, you shouldn't get married. Any doubts, don't get married.
And take your time until the doubts go away, or there's no doubt that you probably need to leave. All right.
Oh, for my wife.
What?
He buys candles for his wife. It would also be fine if you bought candles for yourself.
I am a man who buys candles for my wife.
Oh, Buffin. Steph, the answer boils down to the male sex drive, and it's not your fault you can't understand why men accept train wreck women. It's biology, not logic. Yeah, I know. And that's why I don't understand that part, because I don't have it. So, yeah, that's what I always run up against. Yeah, that's true.
It's an emotional impulse that men really have hardwired into them.
Yeah.
That's not generic. It's like a standard part of us, you know?
I am just so happy that I don't have that, because that would be horrible.
That's about the only thing I wish I wasn't hardwired with. Like, there's nothing else that women have that I envy, but I envy your detachment from that.
Yeah, but I think that I'm almost like the opposite. Like, I've always been good alone, and I think that's also why I've only had good relationships, because I only enter a relationship if it is actually going to add to my life, you know, and then when we don't fit anymore, we end it, you know. So I'm never in a relationship that I don't want to be in, or that's not a good one. And that's because I'm good on my own as well. And I think that's a good position to be in.
Peg says, I can't fathom wanting to deliberately hurt my partner physically or emotionally. You're supposed to be better together, not adversaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine ever wanting to hit you or hurt you.
Especially physically. That's just crazy.
I think back to some of my exes, though.
Oh, the one that kicked you out of bed. Are you thinking about that?
Yeah,
that
one.
Was crazy.
But a few of the others, just the way they treat you, it's like I didn't treat them back even a little bit. Like, even if it's not physically, how rude they were, how entitled they were, how they wanted everything but they gave nothing, how they wanted me to be grateful for almost nothing that they gave. And then, like, I should have given so much back. I should have left earlier, and I should have given exactly the same bullshit back. But, you know.
Just leave. Don't give the same bullshit back. Just leave.
Yeah, but
it's a waste of time. Don't waste your time. Sorry.
I know. But you don't understand. Guys actually get off. We get something from physical contact. That's why we play rough sports. It feels good to punch and...
Oh, go ahead, babe. No, I'm kidding.
No, but you won't understand that feeling. It feels really good to physically get bumped and hit and get into a fight. You feel alive. That's something that women won't understand. It's the reason why we climb mountains, Everest and die. And you're like, why the hell would you even do it?
Yeah, we don't have that, no.
So when a woman, like, it's kind of like everything in your body is saying, like, do it. It's like, no, I can't. But, like, I would really get off on doing it. Because when a guy does it to you, straight away, you get into a fight. It's almost like, you know, you're a horse at a race and the gates open and you go running.
Yeah. But that's also on the guy, though. Because if you've got a girlfriend who's, like, repeatedly, like, hitting you or slapping you, if it's the first time she's done it, then it's okay. And then you pack up your stuff and you leave, right? But if she's repeatedly doing that and you're still in a relationship, like, that's on you. What
do you say to the women that say that a woman can hit a guy because a guy, when he hits harder?
No, I don't agree with that.
No. How did this turn into hitting your partner?
Oh, I don't even remember.
Is marriage a good idea?
We're going through a rabbit hole.
So I think I certainly had a different impression. I was very neutral and did not care about marriage. I didn't hate marriage because I respected the people that were married and they stood by it. I respect people who are very disciplined and they stand by their principles. So it doesn't matter if you're highly religious, but you're a decent person and you can talk normally. I respect that you have something that you're disciplined with, that you believe in. I respect people who were happily married and they believed in marriage and they were respectful to each other and like, okay. But other people, the way they act is like, yeah, I don't see the point. I don't find any use. I don't want to get married.
Yeah, and that's fine. Yeah.
Now afterwards, again, I couldn't recommend it. But if it's done well, I respect marriage and I respect it more now that I am married. I respect marriage more, but I still wouldn't recommend it to everybody.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's about marriage because marriage, it used to be just this beautiful thing that people did. It's just that people have changed and they've changed it. But marriage is still, the concept is still the same. But people have just changed.
Also, I wouldn't recommend it because all the average dipshit out there would ruin it. Like what marriage is, the thing you respect about it, the thing I respect about us now, I wouldn't recommend it because I wouldn't want people speaking for us, like the way now the way people term love. It's like, no, that's not what love is. Like, you guys shouldn't even use the word because you're not even doing it properly. You really like stuff like it's all about lust and hormones, but that's not love. You should find a different word for it. So
yeah, I see hot dogs. What's that?
you just
I saw hot dogs and my eyes were just, what? I love hot dogs.
Is there any food you don't like?
Yeah. Vegemite.
Oh, yeah.
That's gross.
I got her to try it.
Ugh.
I thought you might like it because
I have food with my salt.
Yeah, she has food with her salt, and she has food with her sugar as well.
Yeah.
But I thought, no, she's going to like Vegemite because it's basically
It's gross.
salt on steroids with a particular beefy flavor.
It's too salty. It's almost like just eating salt. And the flavor of the Vegemite is gross. So it's, ugh.
Yeah, the best way I can describe it, it's kind of like sardines with a heap of sugar, but instead of a fishy taste, it's like a beef animal bone broth taste. It's really weird, but I don't mind it very thinly on toast with butter. But yeah, you just don't like it. But you either like it or you don't.
But I can't really think of much that I don't like. I don't like trying foods that I don't know. Like from foreign countries or whatever, or food that looks weird or...
Yeah, but
like
there's
that.
a lot of things you have in your head that you do or don't like, and then I force you to try it, and you go, you know what, that's actually good.
Like what?
I don't know, haven't there been a few things? Maybe not food, because you try everything, and you want to taste if you like it or not.
Well, there are some foods that I just would never try, like...
Well, when you
weird
came
stuff.
here, remember, when we first got pizzas from that place, you really didn't like them, and then later on we got pizzas and you really liked them.
Yeah, that's different. That's just pizza. I'm more so talking about weird stuff from other countries, like frog or... I don't know. Like, I won't eat kangaroo, because that's... I don't know why
Kangaroo is really nice
people in
when
Australia...
you cook it. Yeah.
The kangaroo is like one of the animals from Australia, and you're going to eat them.
Do you eat veal?
No. Because I used to be vegan
Yeah.
for 3.5 years, a few years ago. And I eat everything now.
Except cute animals.
No, the only thing I don't like eating is veal, because I saw the way that they get treated. And milk, because of the pus in milk. So I drink plant milks and stuff, and cornflakes and stuff. Marriage is good for talking about food, yes. I love food.
She talks about food on these streams like I talk
Yes.
about gear. When someone asks me about like cameras and microphones and things like that.
Yeah, I love food. Like, all I want to do is be home, eat food, be with my hubby, and that's how to make me happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, your birthday's coming up in a week.
yeah.
No, in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Our anniversary's coming up next week, I think. But for her tell everyone what you want for your birthday, babe.
Yeah, well, we kind of changed it because now we're going to have family over that weekend.
All right. Yeah.
Right? So we'll probably just order in like fish and chips or something.
Yeah, but what were we going to have for your birthday?
We were going to have McDonald's on the Monday. But I'm on a really good diet, and my cheat day's on Fridays. Like today's my cheat day. So I don't want to have McDonald's on the Monday. I'll save it for the weekend. Yeah.
This is her nerd talk. Food and
yeah,
diet
I love
and
it.
stuff.
I had some good donuts this morning.
Actually, the good thing is that when I talk even scientific nutrition, you're really good because you read a lot about, it's not just like your airhead female dieting, but it's like you scientifically watch videos about dieting and you know the calories of certain foods, you know the technical scientific terms, fasting windows and blah, blah, blah. So it's actually interesting to talk to you about it because with me, I'm also interested in physical health. And I can talk to you about it. You're very, very knowledgeable.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah. But in terms of your taste of food...
I love it.
Yeah, you like extreme, like, burgers with a lot of sauce. Like, the most unhealthy food is her favorite food.
Yes, absolutely.
Whereas I tend to probably like much more... I'm in the middle. I like super healthy or in the middle kind of healthy with a little bit of sauce maybe in a...
Yeah, like he'll sometimes prefer like yogurt over ice cream. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
In what world do you prefer yogurt over ice cream?
Because I just want the feeling of it. So I can get a tub of ice cream or I can get a tub of like flavored yogurt like with berries and like it's that kind of that blueberry jam through it. It's like really sweet and it's the same feeling, but it's half the calories. So I can have the same tub, feel less guilty. Maybe it's a guy thing. I don't like feeling shame or guilt. Like I want to feel good. Maybe it's that. And also, I don't know. Maybe I'm more responsible.
But the good thing is that because on the Fridays with cheat day, so it doesn't matter. I can eat anything I want.
Keep telling yourself that.
Burger King. We prefer, we prefer McDonald's though. Do we have In-N-Out here?
No.
No, huh?
Burger King's okay.
Yeah, but McDonald's is the best. The Big Mac is the best. I think the Big Mac is the best burger ever. This has turned into a food stream.
Yeah, let's get back to this. This thing here.
Yeah.
So I would say my opinion on marriage has...
Hey, rocket scientist. No, I know. I eat stuff with milk in it, but not... I don't want to drink it like out of the...
How much pus does it have in the ice cream?
Hey, shut up. No. We're not going there. I'm ignoring that, okay?
I'm actually going to... That's a great way to get you... Like, babe, how's your pus? I mean, ice cream.
That's not going to help. I don't care. My drive to eat ice cream is way stronger.
Than your insults, right?
Yeah.
I would say, back to this topic, I would say my opinion about marriage has changed quite a bit. Like I didn't care and I thought it was silly and what's the point? It's just a piece of paper. But now I've experienced it in my life differently and I wanted to do it and it was my choice. It wasn't about, is it generally a good idea? I was 100% sure I wanted to do it with you. So my opinion has changed. I don't think yours has changed that much. Like how much you respected marriage and how you saw it. Of course you love it between us, but your view hasn't changed of it as much.
My view hasn't changed for myself, but my view has changed for men. So I wouldn't recommend marriage to men anymore after everything that I've learned. But in terms of myself, my view of marriage is still the same, but that's because I am me. And I know that if I ever get married, which I am now, I am married, that I'm like serious about it and I would only do it if I actually want to be with this person forever. But that's because I know me. So my view of marriage personally has never changed, but I have learned more about marriage and the risks for men. So my view in terms of giving advice to men or recommending it to men, that has changed.
See, mine's the opposite. My view has changed, but the general view is consistent. Like I agree with the general view of marriage,
right.
And I agree with like, yes, it's very risky for guys. I wouldn't recommend it to any guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So mine's the opposite of yours. Maybe because from a male-female point of view.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think marriage itself is a beautiful thing. It's just you need to find, you need to make sure you've got the right person. And also, if a guy doesn't want to get married because of the risks, like I totally understand that. So everyone needs to do what they think is right for them.
Brandon says, I was married for 23 years, raised 3 men. I'm 58 now and 10 years divorced. While I never even considered divorce, ultimately I had to leave 50-50 if I would marry again. It also depends on the experience you've had as well. If you've had a really intense experience with life, it's also condescending when people go, oh, try again. You can find love. It's like, I don't want to find love anymore. I'm just done with marriage. And everyone's telling you, don't lose hope. It's like, leave him alone. Maybe he's just happy. He just wants that out of his life now. He doesn't want to do it anymore. You value it. Stop putting it on someone else. As long as the person's calm and happy, what do you care?
Yeah, I think you should also not be afraid to be direct with people.
Which one?
I saw below the last one. No, go down. Scroll down. Marriage risk. Big Mac disagreement. Yep.
Oh no, we're on shaky ground.
If ever, babe, it's gonna be because of the Big Mac. No, I'm kidding.
Trouble in paradise.
Apparently, high neuroticism is the highest predictor of a partner divorcing. How do you mean that?
In one or both? Probably in one. Yeah, if you're highly neurotic, you've got more of a chance of being making up stories in your head and overthinking things rather than just believing what's in front of you or the conversation that's happening between you. So if you're highly neurotic, you're in your head a lot, too much.
Could you give like an example of what you mean, Daniel?
Maybe just like that was...
Quarter pounder is better than a Big Mac. No.
I agree.
We should start a fight.
Do they make quarter pounders anymore?
I've had a quarter pounder.
It's got tomato in it. It's nicer. Your one, like 2 layers of sauce and...
Look what... Muffin. That's a good way to think about it, Steph. You're dry for ice cream and a Big Mac is like the meal drive. Then I completely understand. And oh my God, you guys, I understand that it's so hard because I love food.
See what we're dealing with?
If that's the same, I have nothing more to say. I'm so sorry for you guys. Oh my God.
I feel your pain.
I could never give up food. Yeah. Wow, that's hard.
Yeah, but anyway, let's how long have we been talking about food, babe? I mean, marriage.
Long.
Yeah. But look, in all seriousness, these kind of fun conversations is a lot about what it's about. It's some people think because of the content I make and we talk about certain sort of serious issues, but lightheartedly that everything needs to be serious. No, relationships need to be fun. And this is an example of mainly we talk about this. We joke around. Yeah.
And I think it's also kind of funny because the backlash that you got once you told everyone that you're married. But I think, well, these people watching probably know, but it's actually funny how we both would not recommend marriage at all. And so this is just us. But
the people that really kind of talked badly about me when I said I got married, they're the kind of people that don't really listen to what I say, and they can't talk properly with people, and they hate the world and stuff. They don't watch the videos. If they disagree with me, they don't want to have a civil disagreement. They just want to interpret what they think about me and then just call me a piece of shit.
Yeah. Is tonight seafood night? I think we're going to have McDonald's tonight.
This could be a joke. Seafood as in you're going to see food and you're going to eat it. As in S-E-E.
Well, yeah, then we are.
Seafood night.
It's seafood all day. Friday is seafood day.
Yeah, she's currently on I am on a super good diet. I've lost like
almost 5 kilos now. What I do is 6 days a week, I strictly diet. I do like 1,000 calories a day. And then on the Friday, I eat whatever I want. And I've been doing that for like a few weeks now. And I lose a kilo every week. And it's awesome. And it's pretty easy. So yeah, it's going really well. So in a few more weeks, I'll do another update and let you know how I'm doing.
Also, we have been...
Walking.
Yeah. That's actually been a really good habit because whenever I go for a run, you're not motivated to sweat and work, go for a run. It can be grueling, but I'm motivated by listening to a podcast. So I enjoy kind of the meditative run and listening to podcasts and videos that I've uploaded onto my phone. So that's what I'm paying attention to. So that's the time I listen to podcasts and videos. And with us now walking as well, we can talk about our channel. You can talk about your ideas and stuff you're working on. We talk about habits and what's the next idea for a stream. So the habit of walking is also we talk. It's not let's just walk in silence and suffer through. Yeah,
it's like quality time every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've been doing it for like at least 2 weeks straight now that we've been walking every day. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's been a good thing as well.
Yeah.
Because before you were, I still try and I like doing cardio and going for runs and walks, but you really resisted doing that. And now because you've seen it fit into your diet plan, but also we go for walks as a habit of spending some quality time with each other. And then the health part just gets taken care of itself.
And now it's easy. It's become like automatic.
Yeah, like any habit, if you stop doing it, you start to feel a bit uneasy.
Oh, babe, we have comments, remember?
Oh, yeah.
We have comments too.
From posts. People left actually, let's... Which one is it?
Below this one.
No, it's...
Where are you going?
No. There we go.
Oh.
I'm trying to find the window, babe.
Oh.
Here we go. All right. Here we go. What are your thoughts on marriage? Yes, no, it depends. All right, you want to read the first one by Accidental Hero?
It certainly depends. From my reference experience, people approach the idea of marriage naively. Everything can point towards that you could marry the person, but the question is, why should you marry them? What is it about them that attracts you to them? That's the mysterious ingredient that we really need to appreciate and understand. The clincher can't be, they have all the items on my list. They check off nicely. That's not a reason to marry. The approach to marriage ought to be personal and specific.
Yeah.
That is, of course, if you want to be married.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Everything can point towards you could marry the person, but the question is, should you? Why do you want to? This is a thing I talked about when I was kind of more in the MGTOW, like a man going his own way. Where are you going? What do you want to do? Freedom's great, but freedom to float around anxiously and you don't know where your feet are it's not a good place to be. Like they might be fun as well, the person. Why do you want? What are their good attributes? Why do you like them? Why do you want to commit to them? They might be sexy and smile and you feel good around them, but can you actually name something can you put into words why they're for you? Why you should?
Yeah. It seems that people sometimes think very lightly of getting married. And to me, that's like so serious. I wouldn't just do that with anyone.
Well, look at those dating shows you watch. They ask, what do you like about them? Oh, we vibe well and like whatever. It's just, I just feel good around them. Great, but what else? Nothing.
Yeah.
T-Dog says, not against it. I think it's good for people who know themselves. This is true. I would not dissuade people who know themselves and you could tell they know what they want. Wish them luck. Good for you. You got the best chance. He continues, find a compatible partner and wish to build a family together. Not for me personally, though. Too much baggage and no desire for that anymore. I mostly see downsides. I agree. See, people don't listen to me. I agree with when you're sensible and you can negatively tell me like why it's a bad idea and why you don't want to do it. I'm 100% on your side. I can't disagree with anything you said.
Yeah. Marriage doesn't fit with my lifestyle. Also, I realized that I'm not the marrying kind. Yeah, then don't do it.
Yeah, and that's actually a good thing. I wasn't the marrying kind as well. And it's not because of the romantic movies. It's because when the right woman comes along, then you become the marrying kind. That's not the point. I was not the marrying kind. And if I hadn't met you, I'd probably stay not the marrying kind for the rest of my life. Like all of this until the right woman.
Yeah.
You know, you are what you are. And if you're comfortable with what you are, that's what you are. And then something comes across in your life that makes you reassess and you want to do something, then that's on you.
Okay. I said yes, my marriage was very good. No, for some that don't wish or choose to be, and there are those who may not be wired for it. Depends, each individual and couple have their own ideas and preferences. Whatever the choice, but both parties should be in agreement with it.
Yeah, the depends things I would probably urge people just to say no. I think marriage should be for people who are really sure about who they are, and they come across someone that they're 100% sure of, and they want to do it. They're not blackmailed. Their partner's not blackmailing them, not saying, where's this relationship going? So I would say today, especially in the West, I would caution very heavily someone who's on the fence or doesn't know, and you need to just be very stubbornly know who you are and want to do it.
Yeah, because you don't have to do it. It's just an option.
Yeah. Yeah, but if anyone says, should I get married? It's like, yeah, probably not, if you're asking me.
Yeah. Been there, done that, never again. I can have a relationship without the legal documentation. Admittedly, I chose poorly and paid for it.
Melee. Personally, I only see the relevance potentially with couples that have kids, as in I believe it can give stability to the kids. I agree. I don't personally believe I am suitable for marriage. I am very direct, cut through, BS a lot. Western women in Australia, to be frank, would see this as aggressive and not boundaries from my perspective. No boundaries from my perspective. If I was married in Australia to a Western woman, I would be divorced in a week. European background, especially Balkans, as you know, we cut through crap. They are not used to it here. More facade and illusion here, yeah. So based on my personality, I'm out. I think environment plays a major role in this area and society overall. Yeah, and I think it's to your benefit, Melee, as well. Like it was for me, you get to the point where it's very clear. It's like, well, I'm trying to find something that's really not there. I keep looking, honestly, and it's nowhere, you know? And I know what I want, and if I never see it, then I'm happy to stay on my own.
Yeah. Here, though, with your first sentence, I just wonder why it is so hard for people who say marriage only makes sense if people want to have kids or if they're religious. I don't understand why it is so hard for people to understand that two people that love each other would also want to get married, maybe. You know.
Well, we mentioned this before. A lot of people aren't convinced that even love exists, and also it's not a basis for. They don't think it's a basis for a lasting foundation because feelings change. Because love is a feeling.
Yeah, but you can stop loving someone if you have kids as well.
That's true. But like, I get what he's saying. I was like him as well before I met you.
Yeah. I don't know. I just find it strange.
Like, I always wanted to find my person like you, but it's like I never thought like, yeah, and I'm going to marry them. It's like...
Yeah, but I'm not saying that you need to do it, but I'm just saying that I would think that people can understand why two people that love each other would want to get married. I feel like everyone should be able to understand that. I don't know.
Yeah, you know yourself, and I do. But if you were recommending this to like a very young, naive girl that you could tell she's your friend or your niece or, a family member, and she's out there in the world dating, she's in her 20s, she's fragile, she's a sweet girl, but she's easily taken advantage of, she doesn't have a strong brain, and you want to protect her, what advice would you be giving her?
No, but I'm not talking about anyone in particular or giving advice or anything like that. I'm just talking about objectively the concept of two people who love each other, who want to get married because they love each other. I feel like everyone should be able to understand that concept.
Here's just something that occurred to me. I mean, it's obvious, but it kind of hit me now, is that you and I are very OCD about the meaning of words. We know what love is and what it should be and how we see it. People in general out there, it's just, love is love. I love everything.
What's that got to do with this, though?
But we can marry on the basis of love, because love to us is a very concrete, specific, black and white thing, the way we see it. And we both see it the same way. So for us, it's more heavy. It's still a good foundation that we can stay together and trust to stay together. Most people out there, they don't think about love, what it means. How do you see love? Is it a real thing? Does it have stoic and specific values that you are black and white to you and you will never see any other way? Yeah,
but love should be just as important in marriages where they want kids or where they're religious.
They're not. That's why they need religion, kids, the thing to hold them together, because their own values in relation, what's the bond that will keep them together?
But that's dumb then. Why are you even getting married then?
But most people out there, they're not OCD about knowing their own philosophy and ethics like you and I, and we talk about it, and like A is A and B is B. To them, they need religion, kids, a structure to hold them together. The value of words and what meaning it is and how we talk to each other, we hold a lot of value to that stuff. And to us, that's why you can't see. But those people, they can only see the structure of marriage and kids as a way to hold themselves together with.
I think the majority think the way I think. I don't think most people who want kids or who are religious and who then get married love each other less than we love each other. That would be ridiculous.
I don't think they love each other. People who are structurally together, marriage, kids, doing what they're supposed to do via the religion, what their parents said, following the traditions and stuff, they might love their partner in a different way, but they're not OCD and very specific about how we think, how we see love, and how we talk about it. They lean on their religion and their kids and everything else to support their relationship. We don't lean on anything.
And that I agree with. Yeah, okay. So when you say it like that, then we are way more focused on love because that's the only thing in our marriage.
Yep.
But then I almost feel better than them because we actually, truly, completely love each other, and that's on the forefront of our marriage.
Yeah. I don't know if it's bad, but they've got a lot more support in their marriage than we do. We've just got one thing.
No, because if either of us wants to leave, we can just leave.
I know.
But if they don't love each other anymore, they're stuck with the kids and everything.
Sure. It's how can I put it? It's easier to unconsciously be in a marriage, have it last, and trust that it's going to work if both of you are highly religious, you believe in kids, you want to reproduce, you're doing what your parents said, like you don't have a lot of pressure on you, you just lean on the tradition. And if you're both that kind of person, then the structure takes care of it. There's no structure with you and I. We've just got us standing by our principles.
Yeah, so this is better. Because even if they don't love each other anymore, they'll stay together because they have to because of the religion.
I know.
Or because they have to because they have kids.
Yeah.
We can leave. Like, we want to stay together because we love each other. There's no cop-out anywhere.
Yeah, look, personally, I agree with you, but objectively, I can see why it can help and work for the vast majority of people that rely on the structure to keep them together. Like,
Yeah, sure. But then still, for someone to say, I don't see the relevance, like I only see the relevance for couples that want kids, I find that so hard to believe that people can't understand why we would want to get married, for example. Even if we don't want kids or we're not religious, but we just love each other. I feel like that's a very duh thing that people can understand, even if they don't agree with it.
I mentioned before, people are like children. They don't like thinking. That's why they lean on religion or kids or structure or tradition and stuff. It's like, I don't want to think. I'll just do what you say.
Yeah, but this is just one comment.
I know.
But I think most people can understand that. They can imagine that.
Yeah, but you and me, we've both grown up with the attitude of, I don't care what you say, I'll do what I want. We want to think and test and work, and we want to know why we believe in something. We don't just go along with something.
I feel like...
What do you feel?
I feel like I'm being punked or something. I feel like I'm saying... People can't believe that a mother would love her children. I feel like that's the same kind of thing of what I'm saying. That is so duh. Like two people who love each other want to get married for no other reason but they love each other. I feel like everyone in the world, 90%, could understand that. Even if they don't agree, they can understand that. Do you not agree with that?
I agree.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But you're saying the majority of people, you find it hard. I don't, because most people out there, they believe, oh, love doesn't exist. It's just hookup. Look at the marriage rates. Like, everything points to they're right. And you're living in a fantasy world.
Okay, guys, let us know if I'm crazy. I feel like most people in the world would be able to understand why two people would just want to get married because they love each other. Am I crazy? Let me know.
No, I agree. But they would say, yeah, but you're being naive.
Really?
It's just feelings.
But they don't have to agree, but they can understand why two people would want to get married.
But they think it's silly, you're being naive and just going off emotion.
Tell us, guys. I don't know anymore. I feel like I'm saying 1 + 1 = 2.
I agree with you. That's the very reason why I trust you and I love your personality.
Yeah, but most people can do basic math. Can't they understand something?
No, most people can't even speak properly. Most people vibe.
Oh man, I feel like the world doesn't make sense anymore.
I like that you're so literal.
Yeah, I like that I'm literal too. Okay, let's see what they're saying.
Anna says, marriage is so gratifying. My thoughts and ideas have changed a lot, influenced by my husband. Having someone who adds positive perspective in your life makes marriage worth it.
Yeah, you have influenced me positively, for sure.
The video I'm making actually about, I'm making a video about people who self-isolate, especially the guys who kind of just decide, like, screw the world. I'm just going to isolate. I don't need anyone else. I'm done. You only know yourself in one way in your head, and you just keep going around in cycles. But you can know yourself much better through bouncing off another person, and you can test things you never even knew you liked on you by feedback with another person.
Northern Belle understands me. Thank you. I'm not crazy. Okay.
You women.
Yeah.
Who says sisterhood doesn't exist?
The world doesn't make sense, but it still makes food. Yes. Yes. As long as there's food, I'm happy.
David says, because we love each other is subjective. Religion would encourage people to redevelop that love.
Yeah, I do agree that like a religion or having kids would encourage people more to work on their relationship more because they've got that. True, but then they can still imagine two other people wanting to get married for love. Yeah.
I think people like religion or the red pill or whatever because it's an objective thing that everyone can understand. Rather than, because you say, you love me because you love me in your way and that's it. And I say, I love you because I love you in my way and that's it.
Yeah.
And people is like, yeah, well, we don't get that. But if I say, I love you because I believe in God and we have kids, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a rule that everyone understands.
I don't believe that though. I don't believe that people don't believe that someone can love someone else. I don't believe that people believe that you have to be religious or it has to involve kids in order for someone to love another person. That's just crazy to me.
I can see that. But I'm putting myself in the head of these idiots who troll in the comments, the TikTok videos, the millennials, the young people who laugh when you say, "I'm dating." LOL. Dating and relationships don't exist. It's just hook up. Everyone's in it for themselves. Everyone's laughing at the idea of love, trust, and it's like, okay, keep.
I think there may be some people, maybe in America, that think that way, but I think the majority of the world is more sane than that.
Are you like? I think everyone is. What's the word when people are just egotistically puffing their chests out? There's a word for it online. Not memeing. They're
boasting.
No, there's like an internet word. Not memeing, lolling, LARPing.
I don't know that word.
Guys online who play video games know what that's about. LARPing. L-A. Look at the definition. L-A-R. LARPing.
The activity of participating in live action role-playing games.
Yeah, so you're play acting. So they're kind of play acting like love doesn't exist. It's like a play act and you're being a bit egotistical and a bit of a smartass about it. But you don't really believe it, like you're in another mode. So anyway.
Okay.
Prince Revolver says, my grandparents on both sides were married. My parents to this day are married. Ideally, I'd like to get married, but I can't picture myself and ever marrying an American woman, especially at my age. No.
Then don't.
That was my struggle. Like, I grew up with my parents. I saw what marriage is. I love my family. I love the way I grew up. And none of it even came close, the girls I met. Even I think it's the environment plays a big deal. It really does. Because I went out with mainly girls who were European from even my exact nationality, my parents' heritage, and didn't make a difference. It was easier, like culturally, like the little shorthand little things were easier, but ultimately it all felt the same, the way it ended and the difficulties. So your environment, I was used to, this is what a good relationship is. This is what a good woman is. This is how I like being around women. And I just couldn't find anything close to it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But
you can always look abroad.
Something always, even though you found me abroad, but even though we found each other and we did the long distance abroad thing, it's like religion. I wouldn't recommend it to people. If it's very important to you, and it's like, I really want to find someone, it's so important to me, I want to have kids or something, okay, your best chances is stop wasting your time, because your time is the most valuable thing you've got, is if you really know you're not going to stop until you find someone, you're better off probably doing it overseas if you've got the finances and the time to do it. But for me, I wanted to find someone, but women were never that important, but it was just frustrating not able to get it. And so I wouldn't recommend it, but if you really want it and you know you want it, I would say your chances are better overseas.
You just have to be careful.
That's like with anything in life, babe, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe be a little bit more careful with this one.
Yeah, I guess. All right. Any final questions? Let's wrap it up. We've been going for an hour and a half.
It was good, though.
When we finally got it working.
Yeah, that's true.
Again, not our fault. It was the internet service provider. I think if you want to leave any final comment, please put a couple of emojis before your question, like this one by Rocket or this one, but preferably just put 3 smiley faces. Just keep it easy and consistent. I think smiley faces are at the start of everyone's like emojis. So it's an easy one. All right.
But the thing about getting married because you want kids, yeah, I read that one earlier. I feel like today that also holds up less than it used to. You know.
The type of love you're missing in this conversation, in my opinion, is conventional love.
Covenantal.
No, it's just misspelled.
Oh.
Conventional love. I'm not sure what you mean.
Oh, you mean like when it just happens to fit well in the moment, and then people are just together because it's like convenient or something.
No,
is that what you mean? Or?
No, I would think conventional love is like what our ancestors did, like very formal. So whether it's through church, being introduced, doing things the proper way, that's the conventional way, the proper way, the formal way.
Okay. I got the chills when you said church.
You've got this real... You've loosened up about religion, but you still...
Yeah, it still gives me the creeps, but that's just because freedom is a big thing for me, and whenever I hear the word religious, I always feel like something is trying to box me in and restrict me or something. It's kind of scary.
Cynical Optimist says, marriage is an incredible place to grow and learn, but we must suss out the biases and the risk to protect ourselves. Yes. Yes, and make the best use of our time. Time is running out, and you just don't have infinite time to play around. When you're young and naive, you can test and try, so you figure out what is real and correct for you. But after a while, you've got to start making choices and not making the same mistakes over and over again. You just don't have time to waste. Human found himself abroad. As in, you're abroad, babe.
I know.
You know what abroad is? It's an old-fashioned...
Like a woman.
Yeah, it's like a colloquial term. You know, when you say chicks?
Yeah, like a woman.
But broad is an even older word. I think it's from the black and white era, like the early 1900s. And I think it came from broad, as in broad hips. Women have broader hips than men, so that's where it came from.
Okay. Yeah. A formal agreement or a principle in religion and law. Ah, covenantal. So it was a different word.
Covenantal. I thought it meant conventional. Covenant. Yeah, covenantal.
Yeah, but that just sounds weird to me. Because why?
Very churchy.
Why do you need like religion and stuff to dictate whether?
Well, if you don't know what you want, you need to be convinced. And if you're still not convinced, if someone can give you science or something outside of you that's objective to convince you, then you'll go, okay, now I get it. Now I believe it. But if you believe it for yourself, then you don't need the covenant.
No, but if I want to marry, I'm going to marry you if I love you.
Yeah, but you're individual. Most people aren't individuals.
Yeah, but you're not going to... Why would you marry someone for religion unless you love them? Like, the love should always be there, regardless if you're religious or not. So what does religion even have to do with it?
I think you're assuming a lot about people out there.
Yeah?
I haven't met very many people who just in a basic sense know themselves, like know what they want, have boundaries very clear, you're direct, like... Yeah, you're assuming a lot about people out there. Most girls I dated were... they didn't care about the person.
No, okay, but the thing about like religious people, don't you think people should always love each other in order to get married, not just get married for religion?
No, not always, because when you hear about people who are very devoted to their religion, they love God and the church and whatever, and it's like if they meet a person that's also like them, it's like they trust that, oh, God put us together and we will be good for each other. It's nice if I find you physically attractive and I have these feelings, that's a bonus, but I can trust I can be with you, we both love God, we can count on each other. There's a lot of structure and trust built around it.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy.
You're different, babe.
My first wife was from Frankfurt, Germany. Unfortunately, one of her cultural inept American friends got into her head and broke the marriage. Oh.
I've heard that's very common. That's why a lot of guys say if you do find a woman abroad, don't bring her back to the West. Because the friends she makes here, she'll get enculturated, is that even a word? Just kind of influenced by the culture. And then slowly you'll change.
Yeah.
The worst parts of your female nature will be influenced by the worst kind of female nature here.
Yeah, that also says something about you, though.
It does.
If you get if you let yourself be influenced by someone who talks shit about your husband, for example.
Yeah, but if you're the kind of person that got influenced by the feminism here, I could say, and you could turn into a bitch, and I'd say, well, that says a lot about you, but you don't care. You're a bitch. You've turned into a bitch. It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, but what it says about you is a lot.
It does, but
because
then if you change into an arsehole, you don't care what it says about you.
No, sure, that's true. But, like, I'm not being influenced by anything here.
No, I know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That says something about me. That says something about her. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it does. That's why you have to make sure and spend enough time with the person to make sure you can trust them. And at the end of the day, if you want to marry someone and you don't trust, like, I feel better if I stay in this country because I'm not 100% sure. If I bring her back, I could see her changing. Then how much do you trust her, and should you really be marrying a person like that you have to keep her quarantined to have a somewhat decent relationship with her? If I want to think that I can live with you anywhere and take you anywhere and you've always got my back. But if I say, like, I've got to keep Stephanie locked up here in this part of the world, otherwise I don't really trust her if she's going to cheat on me over there, if she's going to have my back over here, if she's going to bail on me if we go over here, like, then I shouldn't be with her.
Yeah. Oh, man, it sounds exhausting.
Yeah, but again, I think people's options are smaller, dating's really hard, and people are just trying to survive and find somebody. You know, I get it, but it's hard. Yeah. But at the end of the day, as cheesy as it sounds, and I don't mean this in the lovey-dovey spiritual way, everyone just, it's hard to be alone for most people because we're a social species, even if you're an introvert. Everyone's like hard, it's difficult being in your head all the time, being alone. It's just a nice release, and it's just really nice to be with someone who is genuine, and it's very hard to find that. And human beings, we just want company, we want friends, we want a partner, we want some of that bond, you know. And it's better being on your own because there are few people you can connect with. And I understand the struggle, but in the West, it's just really challenging for people. Anyway, know what you want, know your values, become more and more confident about who you are, know how to talk, and then you know it'll become easier for you to reject these red flags of people. And then if a non-red flag comes your way, you'll be able to see it for what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So, anyway.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing I would say. Don't ignore red flags. Because they're so obvious. Like, don't ignore them.
Be an individual. Really be an individual as much as you can. Think for yourself, because that's the only way. If you do want to get married, that'll give you the best chance. Because you will have the confidence and the will and the really stubborn philosophy of how you want to be with a person and what your life will look like. Not, oh, I hope it's going to look like that. Like, no, my life, I know what it is and what it isn't, and I know what this person is and what they isn't. And I insist on our life being the way it is, and we both do, rather than, oh, I hope, and maybe if we get married, it'll keep us together. Maybe if we have a kid, that'll keep us together. Like, you need to be more stubbornly self-assured about, like, who you are and what you want. That's the only thing that's going to help a marriage stay alive. Otherwise, don't get married. Yeah. If you don't know what you want.
Yeah.
If you know what you want, then there's more of a chance that when you meet someone who also knows what they want, you will see that. It'll be a familiar language. Like, oh, they're like me because we think the same way. We both know what we want. Nothing worse than a guy who doesn't know what he wants meets a feminist who knows exactly what she wants. And what she wants is up here. It's ridiculous. Yeah. You're going to be used and abused. All right. Let's wrap it up. Thank you for people who stuck around.
Yeah.
Despite the initial internet blip.
Yeah, that was annoying.
Enjoy the rest of your week. For most people in the US, it's Thursday night. For the rest of you guys, it's Friday. We're going to go in and enjoy the rest of the day. Do the same. And let us know your comments below what you think about marriage. Good, bad, depends, indifferent. For me, it's completely subjective. And we wouldn't recommend it for anyone.
No.
But we love being married to each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but also, like, if you don't want to get married, like, just don't do it. Because you don't have to. It's just an option.
Yeah, and if you're shamed into getting married by your parents or online, or if online is shaming you not to get married, that should also tell you, hang on, what do I want? Either I'm in the manosphere space and everyone's shaming me not to get married. My parents shame me to get married. Women are shaming me in this way. Do you ever check yourself and go, hang on a minute, how about fuck you all and your shame? What do I want? I don't want to feel shamed. What do I actually feel good about? You know, listen to that voice.
Yeah. Oh, my birthday is on the 25th of November. But thank you. Thank you.
Oh, is that what HBD?
I think so. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
You, internet
Yeah.
millennial. Are you a millennial? You're a millennial, aren't you?
I don't know.
She was born in 86.
86, yeah. I'm going to be 38. I hit the wall, babe. That's so weird, man.
When did you hit the wall, according to the manosphere?
When do you hit the, like, over 25? Is
30,
that the...
30,
No, maybe
it gets
30,
lower and lower
28.
now. It's like 18 now, isn't it?
18, no. I think like 28, 30. That's when you officially hit the wall, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. We're going to eat McDonald's later, so...
Is that what you decided?
Maybe. I don't know. What do you feel like?
I don't know what I feel like, yes. Yet. If anyone's interested, without doing any product placement, this is Pepsi Max Vanilla.
Turn it around so they can see.
Yeah, but then it's going to be like product placement for the camera, and maybe YouTube will be like, sponsorship. Whatever. We're going to go enjoy the rest of the day. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Leave your comments below, your thoughts on marriage, good or bad or indifferent, and we'll catch you next week.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.